Hi, it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts. Thanks again for joining me for another video. I'm going to show you how to make this pretty card here, Love and Joy Come to You, and may it last the whole year through. I thought it was really beautiful. I'm using the Painted Christmas Suite. And let me just show you because there's a lot to it. It's on page 16 in the mini catalog. And it has, there's two stamps, two bundles actually, the Christmas season bundle, and I'm using all of it. Christmas to Remember, there's these beautiful gold leaves and cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. The paper is gorgeous. I'm not using that today. I'm not using all of these products today, but I will be using these. And I made this pretty card with the pine cones, and I'm using copper foil paper for the back of the pine cones. So I used the stamp set on the inside and also this stamp set for the sentiments. So these are both that I showed you in the catalog. And then there are these dies, the pine cone dies, and I'll take you through those. And then there's these great seasonal label dies. And that has some really great labels. And then you can do some holly and cut out some of these items, the pine cones, some of the greenery. So it's really cool. I love it. This is my style. So let's put these aside, and I want to show you this one. So I already did my die cutting, and this one has these great big pieces, and I'll kind of show you how I did it. So there's two pieces that give you the greenery and places for the pine cones. So I did like the bigger piece in Evening Evergreen, and then there's this more intricate, finer piece that has the places for the pine cones as well, and that lays right over it. And there is definitely a specific way to cut them out, or when you cut them out to line them up. You'll see there's pine cones here. So these are the two pieces. This is soft succulent. So I already did these, and I would suggest when you run them through your die cutting machine that you run it through facing up. Do I have this right? So I would put my top plate down here, put the die facing up and your cardstock over it, and then put your cutting plate on top, just because it's very intricate, and it would just make it easier. I would run it back and forth, and then you can see that it's all cut out. I just find with some of the more intricate dies, it makes it easier if you cut it. Normally I would cut it this way with the die, the edges down. So that's just a little tip I find easier. You can do it the other way if you want. And I don't do that with all my dies. Like when I cut this, I just, do it normally. But something very intricate, I would do it the other way. Then I cut out the pine cones. So there's two of each pine cone. There's more of an intricate one, and then the backing. So I cut this in early espresso, the intricate one, and then the backing I did in copper foil. So I have those pieces all done. You'll see them all. I cut 2 sets of 3, and I'm only, I think, using 5. Let me get these. So these are the early espresso ones, and they're really neat. I love how they just kind of coordinate together. They don't line up exactly, but it doesn't matter. It just looks really neat. So I'm going to put these all together. I'll probably speed up some of the gluing. I'll give you some tips, and then I'll speed it up. But I just wanted to show you how it all worked. I figured you didn't want to see me die cut the whole thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue this down. And again, you want to make sure you have it lined up right. So you'll see these are the places for the pine cones, and these are the pine cones. So that's what helps you line it up. So I'm going to just take my liquid glue. I don't have my silicone mat. You might find some stragglers here. Still in New York, and that's one of the things I forgot to take. I forgot that, and believe it or not, linen thread. So I'm not liking that because I like to use linen thread. So I'm just going to dab a little glue. I'm not going crazy with it. I'm just putting it mainly on the pine cones, and I'll go out a little bit. Doesn't have to be all the way covered. And I'm just lightly dabbing it. Just kind of get it all over. This glue is strong, so it really does a good job, and it dries clear, so no worries if you have some coming out. So I'm going to try to find places to turn it over, and I want to make sure that I have it lined up with the pine cones. So I know this is a little dark, you probably can't see it. Just place it down, try to get it all lined up. It doesn't have to line up perfectly. I'm hoping you can't hear the baby downstairs, my granddaughter. She's just finished dinner and she's very loud. I have the door closed. I'm hoping it's not disturbing you. Not sure if you can even hear her, but I can hear her. And again, it doesn't have to be lined up perfectly. So that looks good. And then I'll put the pine cones together, and then I'll put them on here. So there's big pine cones, and I do see I have a few that didn't pop out here. Just pop it out with take your pick tool. And again, I'm just going to dab some glue on the backs. Don't have to have a lot. And then just place it down. And I'll probably speed this up just so you don't have to watch every little step here. So there's a big one, and then there's two little ones. And to me, they seem to line up. I think these are exactly the same. So you don't have to worry about which one matches which. Just the large and the small. So I'm not going to do this last one because we really only need 5 of them. And then we want to glue these down. Actually, let me do the stamping first, and then we'll line up the label. So we'll put these aside. We'll get our label out. I'm using Cherry Cobbler ink, and I'm using the stamp from that stamp set. Let me just put this away, and I have it all lined up here. I love this sentiment. I'm humming the song. I won't sing it to you. You won't want to hear that, but I love that when you see, a line to a song as a sentiment. It just puts it in your head. And let's do the inside layer as well. So the inside layer, I have, may this be Christmas to remember and cherish. Now the stamp set has a lot of beautiful sentiments, so it's really a good one to have. I'll show it to you in a second. So this is it. It has Merry Christmas, which I've used quite a bit, Season's Greetings. There's just a lot of, this is all sentiments. And then the other stamp set is all the greenery and the pine cones. So these are part of the suite, 2 separate bundles though. So let's put that up here. And then we want to do some greenery. And I'm sticking with the Evening Evergreen and the Soft Succulent. So let's do the Evening Evergreen. I'm just going to, let me get a piece of scrap. So I have a piece of scrap here. I just might go off a little bit. So I wanted to have something underneath. And this one just kind of goes in the corner. So I'm doing this in Evening Evergreen. And then I will do some Soft Succulent. These are a great combination of colors. I'm not sure soft succulent is a great Christmas color, but I think it works. Just coordinates so nicely. And then I just did a little bit on the top, not as much. I like to do the top and the bottom corners when I have something that matches. So we have that done. Let's put that aside. Put that aside. Now we want to put the card together. I'm using cherry cobbler, and then this is a piece of crumb cake, which are two of my favorite Christmas colors. I just really love them. So we're going to put this down. Actually, let's put this down first. And we'll just build our card, add our pine cones. Very easy once you have everything cut out, and it does take a little bit of time to poke out some of those pieces. I use my brush for the take your pick tool, and I rub it on the that mat, this mat here. So if you put it over here and you rub it with that take your pick brush, it just pushes out all those little pieces that cut through. So this, I'm putting the glue mainly on the pine cones. So the other parts kind of will be loose. I might put a little bit here or there, but I'm not going all the way to the edges because I want them to be kind of free-flowing. And then we'll just turn this around and lay it. Now it does go a little bit over the crumb cake layer, and I like that, so I'm good with it. And then we can put our pine cones down. So we'll just line these up. I have this big one. I hope you can see them. It's pretty obvious when you have it in person. And there's two little ones. There's some over here that we're going to cover with the label. You can put some down if you want, and they might poke through a little bit, but I didn't think you needed to. So we have these three. This is going to sit here. To see these three, you really won't even see them. I mean, you could have the edge and the edge here, but I don't think you need them. So then you need another big one. Down here. And another little one here. It's pretty, right? I love greenery, especially at Christmas, so I think this is a beautiful set to have. And all the sentiments and the stamps. I know I will be using these stamps quite a bit. I love them. So let's see, what else is, or what is next? Let us put some dimensionals on the back of this. And then we'll add this and add some of those matte dots. Now the matte dots are from a different suite. They're from the one with the little dogs and kittens that go in the stockings. I forget the name of it, some kind of stocking thing. And I just thought the cherry cobbler was perfect. And I like the fact that they're matte, you know, they're not shiny. Shiny is nice, but sometimes it's nice to have the matte. So we'll just take off the backs of all of these. Of course, I have a little bit of glue on my fingers, so they're sticking a little bit. Isn't that pretty? And I was thinking of putting some red in here, and then I decided not to. So these are the matte dots. They come in like almost like an ombre. They're darker and they get lighter as they go through, and they have all the different sizes. So they're really neat. I'm going to do the dark ones, the biggest one, and put it on either side, almost as if this was a brad or something holding this label on. So that's the front, and we have the inside done. So we just need to put the inside in the card, and it's done. I really love it. I hope if you have this, you give it a try. It's pretty cool. It's nice because it really takes up the whole front of the card. So you don't need a lot more after you add the greenery. And I think it would be really nice with the gold and the gold leaves that are in the catalog that go with it, and maybe the golden red ribbon or golden cherry cobbler ribbon. But I love it just like this. I love the copper behind the early espresso. So thanks for joining me. I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. And if you want, you can shop for these products at my online store, and you can get there from my blog, pspapercrafts.com. I'll have all the measurements and instructions there as well. You have a good day. Thanks. Bye.